Good morning. It's July 9th, and this is your daily brief in science. Here's everything you need to know. A new study proposes regional marine cloud brightening to dampen El Niño by deflecting sunlight in the Pacific, aiming to reduce its intensity and global impacts. The idea is to brighten clouds over targeted regions to reflect more sunlight, potentially weakening developing El Niño events and lowering associated floods and heat. Scientists describe this as a proof of concept that could help temper a strong El Niño and possibly prevent a super El Niño from forming. However, deliberate testing of geoengineering carries unknown risks and social implications, and any real-world deployment would require rigorous risk-reward analysis and governance. The study notes technical questions about particle sizes and quantities, regional trade-offs, and the timing and magnitude of unintended shifts in ENSO patterns. It also emphasizes that geoengineering, including MCB, remains controversial and would not replace emission reductions, serving only as a supplementary, carefully governed tool. Long-term outcomes are hard to predict, with models suggesting MCB could unintentionally strengthen La Niña or trigger other global weather disruptions, and reliability diminishing beyond 2 simulated years. The authors stress this is not a call for field experiments and highlight unresolved questions like potential acceleration of La Niña and broader climate impacts. Experts acknowledge substantial uncertainties and concerns about unintended consequences, reiterating it is not a near-term solution for current El Niño. This work is a proof of concept with significant risks and uncertainties, including potential climatic consequences and questions about the need for indefinite use to prevent termination shocks. The proposal seeks to avoid termination shocks by applying MCB only occasionally in a limited region, balancing short-term benefits with long-term risks. Proponents argue regional geoengineering could mitigate harms if fossil fuel emissions remain high, but it would require careful international coordination. A new approach in cancer therapy uses a patient's own cells to fight tumors by rewiring immune regulation. CRG-150 is an autologous CRISPR-edited regulatory T-cell therapy designed to disrupt SRC-3-mediated tumor immune evasion, reprogramming TRGS from suppressive to supportive of the body's own anti-tumor immunity. In preclinical models, targeting SRC-3 enabled immune recognition and eradication of tumors, with durable protection and no systemic autoimmunity observed, suggesting a mechanism that could extend beyond a single cancer type. Rather than directly killing cancer cells, the therapy remodels the tumor microenvironment by editing SRC-3 in regulatory T cells. This could broaden applicability across tumor types by reducing local immune suppression and allowing endogenous CD4+/CD8+ T cells and NK cells to infiltrate tumors. Co-Regen and Baylor College of Medicine are collaborating on the program, with manufacturing support from LONZA for the first-in-human study. The FDA has cleared Co-Regen's IND to initiate a first-in-human phase 1/YIA trial in advanced solid tumors, assessing safety and early efficacy across 3 cancer types. The trial will evaluate safety, tolerability, cellular kinetics, and anti-tumor activity, with initial startup planned within the year at leading academic medical centers. The program envisions future iterations, including allogeneic and in vivo approaches, and expansion into pancreatic cancer and glioblastoma as trial data emerge. Manufacturing for the study will leverage LONZA's cell therapy development and regulatory capabilities. The treatment uses autologous cells collected through simple blood draws and does not require lymphodepleting chemotherapy, aiming for outpatient administration. The overarching strategy is to turn off regulatory T-cell-mediated suppression to enable infiltration by endogenous immune cells and broaden potential use across tumor types. A new study analyzing data from more than 200 adult couples shows that childhood trauma leaves a chronic, everyday wear and tear on individuals, weakening their ability to sustain healthy romantic relationships. The peer-reviewed research examined adverse childhood experiences and their influence on adult heterosexual partnerships. It found that small, daily relationship behaviors matter most. Consistent attention, communication, and support build trust, while neglect in these micro-interactions correlates with lower relationship quality. A co-author notes couples can strengthen relationships by committing to learning healthy relationship skills, which also support future healing. The researchers link deeper friction to past trauma and argue that therapy should address underlying biological and psychological triggers, not just surface symptoms. Experts call for recognizing the chronic, subtle effects of childhood adversity and suggest that strengthening everyday interactions can buffer its impact and improve well-being. Practice takeaways include modeling healthy maintenance behaviors in couples therapy and recognizing that trauma can affect men and women differently within relationships. The study indicates that social skills training, couples therapy, and relationship education are effective, low-cost interventions for people with rocky childhoods seeking healthier partnerships. Overall, the takeaway is clear. Childhood trauma can echo into adulthood in romantic domains, but targeted interventions can improve outcomes and lay a foundation for ongoing healing. Improving everyday communication and micro-behaviors through couples counseling or relationship education can mitigate negative patterns and aid trauma recovery. Gender differences emerge. In women, higher childhood adversity is linked to broader mental health issues that harm both partners' satisfaction. In men, trauma-related depression or anxiety tends to affect their own view of the relationship. Further findings show women with more adverse experiences experience greater impact on mental health and relationship quality, while men show effects more confined to their own perspective. A Greenland expedition named Giant is launching in July to map ice and ocean interactions with autonomous drones, robotic boats, underwater vehicles, and AI. The mission aims to observe the glacier-ocean boundary using a coordinated mix of aerial, surface, and underwater platforms to capture millimeter-scale data and improve models of heat transfer and mixing in subglacial zones. Researchers will measure melt dynamics, ocean temperatures, currents, salinity, and ice geometry to refine climate models and forecasts of sea level rise. A core goal is to study ice, ocean, and atmosphere interactions in the same region, which has been hard to do due to dangerous conditions and limited observation methods. Greenland's rapid glacier melt could influence the Atlantic meridional overturning circulation, with potential effects on global climate, rainfall, ecosystems, and temperatures if freshwater input weakens the current. The mission highlights concerns about how freshwater from melting ice could disrupt AMOC and alter weather in Europe and North America, feeding into broader global climate patterns. Giant emphasizes early warnings and informed adaptation and infrastructure planning for coastal regions. The project will integrate airborne, marine, and underwater observations to improve climate models of glacier behavior and ocean circulation, building on UCLA and NASA satellite research to enhance sea level rise projections. If successful, Giant would inaugurate a new era in climate exploration by coordinating air, surface, and deep-sea robotics in a largely unexplored region to improve global climate predictions. The expedition advances the study of extreme environments, using robotic technologies that are experimental and expected to be refined during the mission, guided by A1 to fuse satellite data with ground conditions and direct robots to regions of rapid change for higher resolution insights. A new AI tool is changing how scientists simulate heavy element formation in neutron star mergers and supernovae by replacing exhaustive reaction calculations with a trained neural network. The model, named Rhine, learns from a comprehensive library of reference calculations and estimates heating rates with much lower computational cost. An international team at GS1/FAIR developed Rhine to improve hydrodynamic simulations of the R process, the rapid neutron capture sequence that builds heavy nuclei. Training Rhine involves extensive reference calculations that cover complete nuclear reaction networks, and once trained, the model is integrated into simulations to approximate heating during the R process. The goal is to strengthen the connection between future experiments at the FAIR facility and astronomical observations of stellar explosions and neutron star mergers. Researchers, including Dr. Oliver Just and Dr. Zoe Xiong, validated Rhine by comparing its outputs to reference data, showing strong agreement. Rhine's source code has been released publicly to encourage collaboration, with funding support from the European Research Council, among others. The tool is expected to enable more complex future simulations and tighter integration between laboratory nuclear physics, stellar explosion modeling, and astronomical observations, particularly at FAIR. Validation shows a high degree of agreement with reference data, indicating substantial reductions in compute time while preserving accuracy. Accurate R process heating is important for future modeling, and RHINE can make simulations more detailed and efficient. The R process involves rapid neutron capture by nuclei, followed by some neutrons converting to protons, enabling growth to heavy elements and influencing ejective velocity and kilonova luminosity. This has been your Daily Brief in Science. To read more about these stories, follow the links in the episode bio. You can also subscribe to these updates via email at www.brief.news. For more daily podcasts about the topics you love, visit brief.news/podcasts. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be back with everything you need to know.